Marshmallow Fanboy back with another action figure review, this time Gung Ho and Lady Jaye from the Walmart exclusive G.I. Joe Retro Collection. The first thing that I noted when I did this with Destro and Baroness was the artwork seems different. Not real different on Gung Ho, but of course the logo on his chest isn't the same as it was in the 80s. And I think somebody online said something about the logo was owned by somebody and Hasbro didn't want to pay for that logo. So I don't have any problems with changing the logo. I'm not overly a stickler for it. It would have been nice to have maybe a traditional Marines logo, but that's probably copyrighted too. You probably can't just use that. So there we go. There's Hasbro on the bottom. It's Gung Ho, and you can see of course, the logo up here. And on the back, just an enormous file card. It's just so big. I was going to compare it to the size of Lady Jaye, but when I get them out of the packages, I can show you how enormous those are. So this is Lady Jaye, and it really gets to be obvious that the artwork is different in the face. I don't know. I don't have a clear memory of the original. I probably should have looked it up before doing the review, but it seems wrong. Seems very wrong. But you can see in the package all of the things that come with her, including the video camera. Seems very original. The little launcher for the spear, which I don't think anybody ever used. The different tip for the spear, the knife. In contrast, Gung Ho, I don't think came with a pistol. I think he just came with the grenade launcher in the original. I don't think any of the original Joes came with knives, because those would have gotten lost immediately. And of course, on the back, giant file card. Of course, Lady Jaye, Baroness, the first two to be released. And then with Gung Ho came Destro. I'm just doing this as far as Gung Ho and Lady Jaye because they're both Joes. So I'm going to open these up and we're going to take a closer look at Lady Jaye and Gung Ho. Now that they're out of the package, let's take a closer look at Lady Jaye and Gung Ho. First, let's take a look at the file cards. The large file cards. Gosh, if these are 6-inch scale, Lady Jaye's probably 6 inches and Gung Ho's probably 7. That's maybe a 4-inch card, and both of the cards turned sideways are taller than the figures. They're just enormous. But I imagine with the 3 3/4 ones, they were pretty big, comparatively speaking, to the size of the figures. I think they were 3x5 or something like that. In case you can see, there's a little bit of bending in the card, a little bit of wrinkling. Thank you, Walmart, for packaging them so well. I'll say well. I mean poorly, but let's go with well. Let's start with Lady Jaye. And first, two of the accessories I didn't pose her with. One, of course, is a different spear tip. You see that there. It's pretty cool. Like that. I don't know if that spear head has a specific purpose. Looks like maybe a grappling hook or something like that, but never seen her use it in that way, or not that I can remember. This is a spear launcher. You're meant to sort of put the javelin, I guess javelin launcher, javelin in here, and you can see all the way through hole there, and that's how she launches the javelin. Or, of course, according to the cartoon, she just throws it. She comes with a video camera. The video camera is really cool because it has this a really shiny black tip for the lens. It looks really good with it. It's hard to sort of see, but the original, the 80s figures, they were just this plain plastic and they didn't have any sort of dry brush to bring out any of the features or anything. So I don't necessarily mind that, but they did hit it they did hit it with like shiny black right on the end, and they didn't take up the whole part, so it looks like there's a little bit of a lip around it like there would a regular lens. That's a really nice addition. As for the javelin has some detailing. I wouldn't call it ornate. It's not meant to be pretty. It's just, except for the tip, that's meant to be really nice looking. But the rest of this is probably to clip into the javelin launcher here. So it goes in like this. You see it kind of goes all the way in, and then, you know, boosh, comes right out. There's no launcher or anything, but if you want the javelin to be in her hand, it can be in as far as you want. And of course you can take the tip off and put the other tip on. She has a backpack. There's no place on the backpack for anything. Oh, action figure stand. I made a big deal out of this with Destro and Baroness, but this is very cool. The action figure stands are back. I hope they'll be in the other classified figures line, but I haven't opened one of those bad boys in a while. The belt is loose. It lays really well on her hip. I think that might be like a communicator. I'm not sure. She did come with a small knife, which I just put into the holster so that I would not lose it. So I'm going to put it right back. So the helmet hair comes right off. And as it did, I think on the original Lady Jaye figure classified series, it had one with the hat and one with the hair. So as this is all reuse and just a repaint, they probably just only included the hat with the hair. But of course it's not glued on because the original wasn't glued on either. It's hard to kind of line it up, but the hair goes over the ear over there, and the hair goes over the ear over here. So let me take off the backpack, and her arms go 360. She has a butterfly joint. It's real subtle. You can't really see it, but no, I dreamed that. Yeah, I dreamed that. No butterfly joint. Seemed like right around there was moving when I was posing her earlier. Yes, there it is. Butterfly joint on the side. You can see that really well, and it moves in and out. She's got to have one on this side. Maybe it's just less. It's more subtle, maybe. But she has a bicep swivel. You can see there, bicep swivel. Double arm, double elbows. It's nice. The hands, of course, rotate, and they have a hinge. Because I could move her earlier. There it is. Hinge goes, and she can manipulate things, put them in different positions. See, there's a joint underneath or a thing right under the rib cage. No, it's not moving. She can twist at the waist. There's some give right under the ribs. So like a torso rocker. See, there's the ball joints in the legs. There's the thigh swivel right there. Breaks the line a little bit of that. And double pin knees. I keep saying double pin. I mean double jointed knees. Let me see if I can get that other knee too. Maybe it isn't. Let me try the other one. Yes. And she can almost kick her own butt, but not quite. So this one does bend. It just needs some hot water, I think. Okay, I'll work on that later. See. It's a hinge on the foot, ankle rockers, and that is Lady Jaye. If you have the Lady Jaye that came out earlier that isn't retro, and you're happy with that Lady Jaye, that version, then I don't think it's maybe worth getting. But if you love the retro series and you just want the Joes to look like the 6-inch versions of the original figures, then it does that job really well from the accessories to even some of the newer stuff, like the 3 3/4 didn't have knives. I don't believe they would have gotten lost immediately. But on the 6-inch figures, you have a lot more you can do with them, a lot more posability. They're just fun. The 3 3/4 are awesome, but the 6-inch ones are also. So let's go over Gung Ho. Like I mentioned, the tattoo isn't original. It was lighter blue. It had the globe. The hat is removable. Looks great on, but you can take that off. And there he is without it. In fact, in the package, he comes without it. He has the action figure stand. I'll take that off. Put Lady Jaye stuff over here so we don't get it mixed up. So it came with a knife. I couldn't wait to put that in his hand, but it goes into this holster on his leg. And that's nice. All of the holsters on his legs are movable, so you can kind of put them in front or back, or in this case, that one fell down to around his ankle, so I had to pull that one back up. But things like the grenade rounds, you can bring it around to the front of his thigh. You can hide it to the back. You could probably pick it off too. Just slide it all the way down his leg and off. Same with the holster on this side. He has a gun with what looks like an extended magazine in the back. Well, a slightly extended magazine. That's not a lot compared to maybe Snake Eyes or somebody, but it's also probably not a machine gun either. Let's see. Gung Ho comes with a backpack. Looks just like the original, just like Lady Jaye's backpack looks just like the original. Take it off, and of course his vest slides around, so you have to line up the vest with the hole in his back so that you can get that to fit in. You can take off the vest too. You have to take his arms off first, I think. I don't think it'll go around that. So let me take the grenade launcher out of his hand, which was really nice. No extra hits of color or anything on it. Just really nice. Remember the I don't know what this thing is called, but it was so inflexible on the original too, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Oop. Too much leaning on the camera. So let's start with the... You know what? I didn't start with the head for Lady Jaye. Lady Jaye has a head that goes back and forth. She has a pretty good down, looking down, and pretty good, I guess, zero looking up. There we go. There's a joint in her neck, but there's also a ball joint at the top of the neck for her head. So you get a lot of, oh, wow, that's kind of cool. It's like, she's rocking out. Okay. Sideways, yes. She can do sideways. She can look a little bit weird. So cool. She has a joint right there at the base of her throat and one right at the top of the neck. So very, very cool. Gung Ho has, see, it looks like he has the joint, a joint at the base of the neck, maybe. See here. Nope, doesn't. Yeah, there we go. He can look down a lot. And of course, raise his head a little bit. So you sort of, oh, he's Stone Cold Steve Austin in there. But then I can move it back up, and then there he is again. So yeah, lots of down. He can look down a lot. He can look straight up, practically. And he turns his head all the way around, of course, and he can tilt his head. So he can look at you and say, what? I'm not sure what you mean by that. And of course you can take the vest all the way off if you wanted to. Does he have butterfly joints in his shoulders, maybe? Let's see. Or maybe just in the one like Lady Jaye did. I see it. It's right below the vest. There's the butterfly joint, and then there's the ball joint too. Then a bicep swivel, double elbows, and the hand that rotates, and the hinge for it. so that he can do more dynamic things with his hand, like hold the knife in more threatening positions. He has a really obvious ab crunch kind of torso rocker, but he also has one right above the belt, so he can practically do a sit-up, which is really nice. He also turns at the waist, of course, not at the torso rocker. The torso rocker is well defined there. Of course, just knew what these were. Ballpoint, not ballpoint. That's a pen. Yeah, leg joints. So let's see. Let's double up on the knees, and he can almost kick his own butt, but not quite. Not quite at all. He has, let's see. Oh, the boots move. There's a swivel right at the top of the boot. His feet are on a hinge, and he has a bit of a pivot, ankle rockers. Yeah, Gung Ho is one of my favorite characters, but I guess that's not saying much. If gun to my head, they're all my favorite characters. But getting the retro line was a must for me. There's been a drought of G.I. Joe product until a few years ago, until they started releasing G.I. Joe Classified. So I'm happy to have 6-inch product to get. I'm happy to get all of the figures and to take them out of the package and mess around with them. This saying that there's probably a few I haven't taken out of the package. Like that very first Snake Eyes. He was real hard to get, and I had to get him on eBay, so I had to pay aftermarket for him. I didn't know he existed for maybe a few months after he came out. So he's in package, and he'll probably stay in package forever because I have 4 or 5 Snake Eyes at this point. But that is it for this action figure review. I've knocked them both over now. I was going to try to stand them both up. So until next time, enjoy your toys.